Like, if it's gonna happen somewhere, it's gonna be some weird shit like this. Like, can I get over here? Let's see. Because this is like, I should slide off this logistically. Oh hell yeah! There we go. Woo! There we go. Oh! Oh! I'm gonna be the Get Quaked On of Junker Queen. That's the plan. Hi everyone, this is Overwatch Grandma coming at you with a new video, which I am not sure if it's going to be useful, but it will be tremendously fun, which is rollouts for Junker Queen's ultimate ability, which is called Rampage. How does this work exactly? Well, basically I went through every single map and tried to do jumps with Junker Queen's ultimate off of environment, various props, just to see if I could get any air, do cool jumps, or just have a rollout in a way that the enemy would not expect. Kinda like that. Let's head over to some maps and see what we can find. Alright, let's start with Watch Point Gibraltar first point attack. You want to get up to that pesky high ground? Well, just line up your crosshair with the bottom of this light right here on the blue box, and let her rip. Ta-da! Now you're ready to do some damage. Make sure you don't use your shout or you will overshoot the platform. Alright, let's mosey on over to Gibraltar Point 2, where these lovely yellow boxes will allow you to mow down the people on the high ground platform. However, there is a better spot for this. Coming out of the right side spawn doors, hop up on this orange tarp and roughly line your gun up against the sides of these boxes next to you. Now point your crosshair at the top corner of the blue boxes in front of you. This won't be where you want your crosshair when you actually hit your ultimate, but it will help you line up for the jump. So when you do ult, you want to point your crosshair at the door above, because that's where you want to end up. Bam! Now you're right where your targets are. Last but not least is my favorite rollout on Gibraltar, which allows you to come right out of this spawn door and attack the catwalk to your top left. Now you will want to align yourself in front of these orange boxes and roughly point your crosshair on the top of the barrier in front of you. You will bounce off of the orange pipes and land right on the catwalk where you can attack your targets. Pretty cool. Another pretty solid map for rollouts is Dorado. With a lot of high ground and slanted rooftops, it is prime location for rampaging. If you want to do a little bit of spawn camping, you can kind of position yourself here, launch yourself off the corner of this building, and be right in the back line, axing your targets a question. But wait, there's also options if you're on attack. Just jump onto this little green pot, you will do a hippie hop motion, make sure you shout, and jump off this blue car. It will land you right on the high ground where you can probably attack some targets. Now there is another way to get onto the high ground that might leave you less exposed. You're going to jump up onto the pots in the corner here like you did before, but you're going to aim yourself at this gray car. The gray car will launch you into the high ground and probably through every squishy that happens to be standing there. Second point, Dorado has some cheeky spots as well. You can jump up onto this green scooter or even the ledge near the wall and aim yourself at the van. The van will launch you up onto the high ground where typically an annoying Ashe, Cass, or Ana tend to be hanging out. Once you're on high ground, there's other options for you. Like if you look for this little nub that's sticking up, you can actually launch yourself off that and get to the windows across the way. Another spot is if you drop onto this angled box from high ground, you can launch yourself up to the other high ground where Ana usually sits. Now there isn't much on Dorado Point 3, but outside of the attackers spawn doors, there is a cheeky little jump you can do off of the lamppost here, which takes you pretty far down the road. First point, Eichewalde, you can stand on this plant just in front of the capture point and aim yourself at, I think it's a wooden shield, propped up against this vehicle thing. This will launch you in a really interesting way towards the point, which might make you really difficult to sleep or hit with any other stuns. If you get yourself to the high ground overlooking the first point, you can actually launch yourself off this slanted wood and probably into the background of a team that's pushing in, for example. If the team's pushing in from the other side, you can come up to this high ground again and position yourself a little bit differently off of the stones here. This will launch you off of the rooftop and into the backline of a team pushing in. On the second point stairs leading up to the tower, you can launch yourself off this machinery pretty far down the streets. On the other side, if you aim yourself towards the bricks that slant upwards, you can actually land yourself on the widow spot, if you don't use your shout like I did. Lastly, you can easily cross the moat on Eichewalde if you just position yourself here and launch yourself off these bricks right to the other side. There are lots of juicy spots on Junkertown, like if you hop up onto these barrels, you can send yourself flying over the roofs into the backline. Arguably not useful, but still very fun. Hop onto this oil tank to get the right height to launch yourself off of these 2 cars to land yourself in the backline where there could be a widow or an Anna. Jump down onto this box and line your crosshair up with the tippy top of the outhouse to launch yourself onto the Junkertown sign where widows like to hang out. If you really hate snipers, you can launch yourself off of the outhouse this way to end up in that really hard to reach place at the back of the point. Junkertown Point 2 is a little trickier. You will want to climb up this metal barrier here just above the koala sign and let her rip to get over to that widow spot across the way. Lastly on this point, jump up these boxes and line your crosshair above this SUV. That will send you flying up the stairs and onto the high ground. For this last point, you can jump up onto this machinery and use the fidget spinner to launch yourself into the backline. Ta-da! Heading over to Route 66, you can launch yourself up these stairs to get across to the other side. On point 2, you can aim your crosshair to the corner of the bridge to launch yourself up in the air. I'm pretty sure you can get on top of the building with this move, I just happened to miss it. Point 3, get up on the transport truck. You'll have to time this correctly with the platforms, but you can launch yourself off the platforms quite a bit of distance here. You can also kind of do this from the attacker side by lining your crosshair up with the corner of this ledge here, and wabam! Alright, let's move on to Circuit Royale. I couldn't find anything on point 1, so we're going to go straight to point 2. Walk up the stairs here to this high ground area, and you will want to aim your crosshair at the dome here. This will launch you across the way, past the barrier where the enemy team will likely be standing. You can also launch yourself the other way. The second spot's a little tricky to get to. You have to kind of jump up on this dolly to get yourself onto this tire holder and onto the top of the tent. Launching yourself off the tent will suck you close to the ground for this one, so it's not necessarily a jump, but you should hit a lot more enemies along the way. Another second point spot is if you walk up these stairs here and put your crosshair above this lamp, it'll launch you up to the corner. Okay, now that you get the general idea of how these rollouts work, I'm going to go into a montage mode because explaining each and every one is probably going to take a considerable amount of time. But I hope you enjoyed this first rollout that I taught on Midtown to flats. Do you have your old flats? Come here, come here. Follow me. If you ult here, you're gonna bounce off this light, and you're gonna end up right out on top of the high ground.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I trust you. You guys ready?
I hope it works. I hope it works. I did it like 5 times.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, hell yeah! grandkids. That's all I've been able to find so far. I hope you enjoyed the ride. I can't promise all of these will be useful, but they were pretty fun to hunt for. To find your own Junker Queen Rampage rollouts, try walking up surfaces to see if you slide a bit or can walk up them normally. If you can, chances are you can rampage off of it. If you can't, chances are you'll get stuck. I recommend practicing these on your own before trying them in games, just to make sure you can get the angle right first. Or, just YOLO, as your queen decrees. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them below. And as always, like and subscribe. Happy rampaging! Grandma, over and out.